Can I make a suggestion? I move that every newspaper in America quits doing any fact checks on Joe Biden.
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Leftist Extremism. Now, this was a week that the leftist media demanded an end to any fact-checking of Joe Biden.
Can I make a suggestion? I move that every newspaper in America quits doing any fact checks on Joe Biden until they fact check Donald Trump every morning on the front page. It is ridiculous that the New York Times fact-checked Joe Biden on something.
Why would you want to fact-check Joe Biden? I mean, the media doesn't even want Biden to speak right now. Nevertheless, enter into a possible debate with an opposing candidate.
Normally, my gut would tell me it's good for democracy. I caveat that with, if we did not know these two men as well as we do, it would be more important for them to be debating. The problem is, for the reasons you just spelled out, Donald Trump comes on and I wish they'd put him in phone booths and cut mics after a certain amount of time. Right. He has these like nonverbal cues that could lead some to believe, oh, he's so strong or he's this, but he just blows the whole thing out of the water.
Biden shouldn't debate because he'll lose. Well, I mean, at least they gave their reasons. As did The Atlantic this week, who in their Trump hatred perhaps gave the best argument against voting Trump. Because if he would win, that would really stress the lefties out. You see, if Trump is elected, we'll see more instances of Trump derangement syndrome. And boy, that just would be awful to have to watch the leftist media go through that all over again, huh?
Well, America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion. And I mean literally crying.
Everybody is crying and so upset, and it is the end of their world.
The fear by the leftist media means that only pro-Biden information is allowed to be broadcast. And ABC's Good Morning America certainly delivered a really good spin on Bidenomics and groceries this week.
This morning, rising food prices are taking a bigger bite out of household budgets. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, it's been 30 years since Americans have spent this much on food. Grocery prices are up 1.2% from a year ago, and the cost of eating out digging into people's budgets, surging by more than 5%. But there is good news. Analysts expect some relief in the coming months.
While prices are rising for food, they're rising at a much slower rate than they were a year ago or 2 years ago.
So prices will still be high, just expect them to rise slower. That's the good news on Bidenomics from Good Morning America. And other good news, even when Biden accomplishes absolutely nothing, like on the border, well, that's just great.
Look, Republicans have seized on the chaos at the border, turning it into a political liability for the president, upping the pressure on Biden to act. But if he does impose this executive order, it would echo a 2018 effort by then President Trump to bar and block migrants. It's something that Democrats staunchly opposed at the time and that was blocked by the courts. And if he does take this action, it too would likely face legal challenges. But even so, politically, it would give the president an opportunity to show that he is doing something.
Even if because of previous legal challenges by Democrats, it will amount to nothing.
An opportunity to show that he is doing something.
It's excellent work there. And who would know more about spinning propaganda while accomplishing absolutely nothing better than the leftist media? That's probably why longtime CNN senior political analyst and all-around tool John Avlon announced that he's running for Congress as, surprise, a Democrat.
To defeat Donald Trump, defend our democracy, and win back the House from his MAGA minions.
Wow, who would have guessed a CNN reporter would go down this divisive route of rhetoric?
So how exactly did Trump's election lies become the GOP litmus test?
He seems so dedicated to down-the-middle reporting there at CNN, huh? The leftist media just has a problem dealing with facts. I mean, some don't even realize that Trump isn't an American citizen.
Republican voters need a viable option, an American candidate.
Oh, Mika, she doesn't even realize the idiot that she wakes up to every morning.
The message that she is getting right now from Little Mike Johnson.
Macho Joe back at it on Tuesday, twice referring to the Republican Speaker of the House as Little Mike Johnson.
We have a guy who wants to be president again, and his pathetic little speaker.
That's right. Joe's such a tough guy, like when he fantasizes about beating up tourists.
I'd stop and say, hey, Inspector Clouseau, put the camera down or I'm going to make you eat it.
Just so intimidating, huh? But like most lefties, One thing he can't wrestle with is actual facts. And the media had a tough time coming to grips this week that the state of Alabama used science and recognized that a fertilized egg is a human with its own unique human DNA, and therefore killing a human would result in criminal charges.
They are defining an extrauterine embryo as a living creature, and that's just simply not the fact.
Actually, it is a living creature. That's totally a fact. Really, when you're dealing with the leftist media that is just this idiotic, it's impossible. Here's an example from Amanpour and Company on the debate over gun rights.
You know, the facts, as you state, law-abiding citizens, i.e., I guess the good guys, are actually responsible for much of America's murder rate.
Wait. So if they're murdering people, how exactly are they law-abiding citizens?
You know, the facts, as you state, law-abiding citizens, i.e., I guess the good guys, are actually responsible for much of America's murder rate.
When you create that type of logic to make your anti-Second Amendment argument, you are mentally impaired. And you may think that's the dumbest thing that you've heard all day, but you just haven't yet seen MSNBC's Joy Reid melt down and claim that Republicans, both in and out of elected office, are assaulting the modern world. Yeah, it's just a little crazy.
The conservative majority on the court, led by Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, have already waged a full frontal assault on modern society, including repealing the civil rights era.
What? There's no more civil rights, you say? They're gone? That does seem a little dubious, doesn't it? I wonder where she's getting her information. Perhaps it could be from her own network.
Alito and Trump are joined by House Speaker Mike Johnson, who, according to one MSNBC columnist, is the most unabashedly Christian nationalist speaker in U.S. history.
Oh my gosh, MSNBC has decided that he's Christian. He might prefer to give money to charities instead of the government. He might believe life has value. He probably even prays for guidance.
Now, if all of this sounds like The Handmaid's Tale, congratulations, you get it.
Yeah, we get it, Joy. You're a hate-filled anti-Christian bigot. I'm Eric Shiner from MRC-TV asking you to get it. Head over to the MRC homepage, click on that donation button, visit MRCTV.org for the latest in videos, information, and entertainment, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos on the social media platforms that actually let you see us. And we'll return next week with another look at leftist media madness.